Okay. Set all this shit up. And then we'll just kind of go at like 35-ish probably. Oh.
Sounds good.
Wait and see who actually shows up. If not, they have a VOD to watch too.
Very cool.
Ever since I got fiber, like my connection to Chicago has been absolutely incredible. Like 5 or 10 ping. Projectiles feel amazing. Where is everyone? I thought there was like 5 people who wanted to watch that.
8:30, not even.
I haven't gotten
5
pinged for
people.
this. I just kind of showed up.
Oh no.
Maybe a ping.
Let's see who lied. Ryan lied. Trops lied. Ryan Crispies. Come on, bruh. That's alright. I'm probably just gonna like start rolling the ball now. And then just kind of. I'm sorry?
Put it live on Discord.
I'm already live on Twitch, is the thing.
Boo.
Also, like, you can join the server I put, like, in Discord also.
Boo.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go, and, you know, this will be on YouTube also for anyone watching, like, either on Twitch or anyone who's, like...
Please, I want to make sure I can review it multiple times.
Huh?
You put it on
You'll
YouTube
get it.
so
I got you. I got you,
Alright,
Tank.
thank you. Appreciate it. See, this is why I love our sniper. He's the one who appreciates me.
That's not what class I play, but okay, I still love you.
Thank you.
Oh my. Alright,
Who's our sniper though? He always appreciates me.
I don't
Trops, right?
And you.
Alright.
Is it Trops? I haven't been with y'all for a while.
Yep, it is. Okay, so just kind of starting off, this is Lakeside R2, and I'm not really sure, like, what they changed between R2 and R, because, like, I couldn't find any change logs on the RGL site, or...
There was something with the lighting and something you could stand on that you can't stand on anymore.
Okay, yeah, I mean, if it's, like, lighting and stuff like that, like, it's not really anything big. I think going from Lakeside R to, like, from Lakeside is probably still the biggest thing. Like, again, like, the biggest things they've changed in the R series of Lakeside is that they changed the props on the ruins. So both sides gonna have the same hitbox now. Thank you for the follow. So just kind of the biggest thing here. So the like ruins has like the same kind of like setup on both sides. I think before, I think red side had a little different setup on it. They changed some hitboxes like the pillars on the bathhouse.
Oh yeah, isn't one of the things near ruins where you can like it's like glass now?
Yeah, yeah. There's like something over here. I'm not sure which one it is, but like they did change that. They changed the biggest thing I think is they changed explosion hitboxes on the stairs and whatnot. So now spam is more effective on stairs. I'm sure if you're like a rocket player or a demo player, you know, shooting a rocket or shooting a sticky onto stairs, having it det and do 0 damage is really upsetting. So they kind of changed how spam works on stairs. They got rid of the sun a little bit. Um, basically, there was an issue where like the sun would give one team an advantage if you were on this red side here and looking to like deny bombs, like the sun would kind of block you and it'd be like kind of hard to see. So they got rid of the sun. Like I think they reduced the lighting of it. I'm not sure if they removed it entirely. Um,
Our
they also changed these health kits here. Used to be one big medium health kit. That was changed along with this update, and I do think that like it's not gonna have too big implications on like the game. The only like thing is like if you have two players like on fire or bleeding, they can share the health kit, or your heavy can turn these both into medium health kits with the sandwich and how that whole thing works. Um, and they also ended up changing the respawn cabinet location in spawn to where they actually go back to red. I can get in there and show you better. Just kind of with how the spawn rooms work, they changed the resub cabinets to be a bit closer to the doorway, so you don't have to, like, if players don't have like a resub bind or a bandy bind, they can easily just kind of grab the kit and rotate through spawn. And that will be right here. So they did edit that. I can kind of go through callouts really quick. I do have some people, I linked this into the office Discord, and some people might not know callouts, so I'm going to go over callouts really quick. Usually I'm just going to go from left to right. We call this tunnel right here, tunnel kit. You can call this whole area pretty much ruins right here. I usually call this bridge. Some people will call this, like, I've heard this called dance floor before. I don't really like that. I usually just call this kind of bats area. Just kind of bats and lower bats. You have obelisk right here. I usually just call this the medium kit, because most teams will, I don't know, like, there's only the medium kit, like, kind of back here. You can call it back left, back right, whatever. This is called gay spot. Because the heavy will
I've
sit,
used this before.
the heavy will sit here, and you can just kind of head glitch people across the point pretty easily. Oh yeah, you have obelisk kind of right here. You have point. You have bathhouse. We have main right here. I usually call this yard. Actually, I don't know. I usually call this like backyard, and this in front yard. And you just have bats and lower bats. Usually teams can push out of lower bats. I would say the most common places teams will push out of is either main or lower bats. Sometimes they might drop off right here also. So just kind of a big thing is that, you know, to understand to play Koth, that you got to make sure, you know, I always tell every team I mentor there are 3 keys, which I think if you need to succeed in playing Koth or any kind of game mode, it's hold together, push together, don't feed. Really, I think this is a good micro way to kind of figure out, like, hey, we're losing our scrims, we're losing these fights, what's going wrong? And you can kind of quickly kind of break down like what's going wrong, like in reviews if you follow this kind of guideline. Typically, if you're feeding and not holding together, you're probably losing. If you're feeding and not pushing together, I'd imagine your pushes onto point aren't always going to work. So that's just kind of a quick cut and paste way to make sure that you have good, consistent offenses and defenses. And just kind of a way to make sure, like, hey, we're losing the scrim or match. How can we adjust? And you guys can talk about it kind of within that parameter. So that's just kind of like the whole mindset behind that. So I guess I'll just kind of go over mids and rollouts here. Just kind of show the demo rollout. The demo rollout's really not too difficult. Pretty similar across, like, I guess a lot of Koth Highlander maps. You know, you have, it's just like one stick here, go. That stick's way too close. We won't get a stick kind of right there. around, jump right here, sticky here, you go over the top right here, and you just kind of land right here. Obviously not on 16 HP. I think I took the second jump a bit too high. So that's always a good thing to kind of work out. Usually I think if you get there around like 60 HP is pretty alright. I usually see people like 60 HP not buffed. Like obviously you should be being buffed because everyone in spawn should be crouched. They're on leveled guns or they're on crits or stock or whatever. You know, your soldier should be kind of whipping everyone behind your demo. So you can get the mid quickly. As your team kind of gets out of spawn right here and you kind of get through this main area, make sure your medic can easily heal your scout so you can get some extra speed kind of through this choke area and be able to kind of heal your demo quicker. And have like a fully buffed scout and fully healed demo ready to kind of fight the point along with your heavy kind of playing over here on like the right side. I think teams can roll out 2 different ways on bats. And you can kind of go either out of this bat side here or out of main, but I think like the stock and most common thing is just going out of main. It doesn't really matter which way you go IMO. The biggest thing is you just get to point as quick as you can. I mean, the typical mid kind of involves walking your combo through main while your flank kind of tries to work your bathhouse control. And Lakeside's kind of cool to where you can switch up how many classes and which classes you kind of want to commit to this bathhouse side versus just kind of on point during that initial mid fight. But it's really, really important to make sure that you at least have some pressure on it. So flanks can't just like easily run through and kind of kill your team on point. Or they kind of wrap around on their ruins and they'll start killing like isolated players or hurt players kind of in like the post fight. I would say it's not really too uncommon to see like NG, Pyro, Soldier, Spy, and maybe even a Scout kind of play here in Bathhouse, but I think having a Scout kind of on point with your Medic, Demo, and Heavy is a lot better. It's kind of a double-edged sword, really, and it's just like there's like a weird balance thing to it. Because I think having Bathhouse control is really only as good as the like space you have behind it. Because if you have bathhouse but they have point, they can easily kind of lock you out and just ignore you in here, and then they'll kind of run at your team instead. It's just kind of a thing where like having control doesn't make too much of an impact unless you know your team is good at kind of stalling the fight to where your fight can get a good position in, and then they can wrap around and start causing some chaos. It's very, I think, possible and valid to kind of commit 9 players to the point and just ignore everyone in Bathhouse just by playing to the far side here. This kind of approach will prioritize, you know, getting control of the point, and you're going to work on playing these 2 angles right here. And you're just going to treat everything in Bathhouse as though it was like a non-factor. Because once you kind of get over here and push people back and kind of get some kills on point and on things behind point, it's very easy to swing your combo and flank all towards Bathhouse and kill the unbuffed players that were kind of hiding in here also. I think your sniper can really get into a few good positions on mid. It can cover the point pretty well, and that's kind of why it's on your spy to kind of find that sniper very quickly, because sniper on Lakeside is a huge problem because the point is just so open and there's a lot of angles that kind of cover the whole point. I recommend just kind of at the start of every round, just kind of going like Latranger, Spycicle, and like an Invis Watch to kind of make it further across point and find that sniper quickly is super good. You know, he can play kind of over here on the ruins, and that can give him like an angle into Bathhouse really well, and also you can shift over here to look on the point. He also plays, if you play closer to bridge, you have a pretty good angle right here. It's pretty important for a sniper to make sure that they're spy aware, as it's really, really easy for a spy to kind of get on you quickly from ruins. Kind of playing on bats also gives you similar coverage, like, but the same thing with like ruins is that the spy can get on you very quickly, and you're also kind of isolated right here. So you got to make sure you're rotating a lot and you're kind of using your life to kind of jurisdict the pace of the mid, because snipers staying alive on this mid makes it really hard for teams to kind of walk up for free. Like sometimes just staying alive and threatening to do 150 to something on point can just help sway the entire mid so much, you know. So definitely make sure, like, if you're playing sniper, you're kind of trying your best to move around and rotate as people kind of start to take note of where you're positioning. You know, you can kind of try like a rotation pattern of, like, I don't know, we can play sniper and we can roll out ruins, and we can kind of get posted up here on ruins for a second, take like one or two shots, rotate to mid bats, try to get like a few shots here, kind of right here on mid bats. You can also kind of go here on back onto bats right here and work this. I mean, and if that doesn't work, if you want to try something else, you can go like ruins, mid bats, point. It's just making sure that you're constantly moving and making sure that like you're even moving on point, really, because if you kind of drop down, want to snipe on point, you can play right here and watch this. You can also rotate all the way over here and kind of watch this too, or kind of watch that angle right there. So to make sure like your sniper is rotating a lot and you're kind of trying your best to keep them alive if they play on point with the rest of your team. I would say from like a combo perspective, having your demo, scout, heavy, and medic come from main and just kind of start pressuring the point to gain control is really important. It's vital to kind of make sure that you establish point control early as a team, since once you kind of push teams back off the point right here, you know, you notice how Lakeside has like this huge slope. Like this like height difference is huge. Like it's really hard to kind of fight this adequately, and especially the cower kind of right here. It's kind of an awkward angle to fight things, and it's really easy to get spammed out and flanked because you're worried about the demo spamming you here, and then a heavy and scout kind of bust over and start like harassing you from like right up here. So definitely try to establish that point control semi-early. I think if enemy combos are too slow to back out from this pressure, you'll find some pretty easy kills from the post-fight. Typically, I think it's pretty normal to have your heavy buffed, and he'll swing over here to this ammo kit side. I always like to kind of spray down this ammo kit, because sometimes spies will just go for it right away, and you can get a pretty easy spy kill if you just kind of watch it for a second. And as soon as you see it go away, you can just kind of shoot it and get like a free spy kill pretty early in the mid. And your heavy just kind of holds this down and kind of plays it passive, trying to bait some 1v1s. If there's a lot of pressure coming to him on this side, your demo, scout, and medic should probably kind of swing over and just kind of help shoot across the point. If the sniper is playing like over on ruins, you can't really afford to cross right here because you're going right into the sight line, right? But if you're ever like kind of playing right here, like you can kind of play, if he's playing kind of on the right, you can kind of play pretty tight right here and try to pressure this ankle kind of close. Yeah, and then your demo and scout are just kind of playing together and working to push things off point. Biggest thing, you know, if I would have to describe this whole approach like a machine, I would say your heavy and pyro are kind of like the constant DPS of like your team, and your demo and scout are kind of the heavy burst damage. And as long as like you guys kind of synchronize what you're shooting on point and you all cross the other, things will die very quickly, and you'll get a lot of spaces on point from that. If you guys can't cross right away, that's fine. It's pretty common for teams to kind of stagnate right here on the stairs. So it's very important to make sure that your spy, flank, and whoever is like the first forward like calls the sniper right away on mid, so you guys can kind of jurisdict like how you want to approach mid and kind of adjust your positioning in the push. Just because like having that knowledge or early picks on the sniper is very critical, and you can just kind of improve your whole combo's positioning off those calls alone. It's not really uncommon, as I said, for the spy to kind of dedicate their whole life to finding and going for it for like that pick as soon as possible. So do kind of keep that in mind. If your pyro doesn't want to go bathhouse and play more on point to kind of reflex spam, that's okay too. I would say your pyro in this case is just kind of like a mini heavy, where you can kind of play on the left with like your demo and scout and kind of reflex spam off your demo, so you can kind of find more space to cross. Whenever you guys do push on the point, anytime, it's like a good rule of thumb, anytime you're like an offense wants to push on the point, you gotta make sure you don't stop right here. Try and like bully people right here and like overwhelm them from like both sides of the stairs. Your beam should probably commit like kind of out of the sight line, and your buff players can kind of bully people like right here and right here. This is pretty good. You can just kind of push them back and try to kill people leaving late. If you guys are on mid and you see like a heavy or something kind of isolated right here, and his team's like back here, I say it's worth it to kind of swing over and kill him quickly and rotate back. So it's just kind of getting those free isolated kills are really, really good. You just gotta make sure whoever's kind of being pressured by the isolated player calls for help, and your team listens to that call. You can also just like spam and shoot across point if you're stuck in a position where you can't rotate. Once you kind of punish that aggression, you got to make sure your team is buffed up and ready to cross the point and fight across point. Oftentimes, I said there'll be a stall, so just kind of make sure like people are staying as healthy as possible, and you're listening to whoever your main caller is or like your demo to see if he's getting good damage, and then you just kind of push off like the good damage. Or if you guys get good picks, you guys can push off those picks too, obviously. I said like your pyro could play bathhouse or like with your combo. If you guys know their flank is trying to bully out yours after a few mids, you can kind of commit your pyro over there to cheat. You also have like your demo and scout like kind of shoot like a quick pipe or something over here to try to do like a quick 40 damage sticky or something, or like try to like hit like a nice pipe in there if they run right away. And that can kind of make sure like your demo can't get ran at from like the side. So I would say if you're playing scout, you kind of do have to pressure their demo back, but also make sure you're kind of keeping an eye on like the tunnel entrance, or like the bathhouse door. So like a soldier can't just sit here and spam rockets. If you see that guy, just try and like, bully him away best you can with like buff. I mentioned earlier that having your entire team commit to point is a very good idea. I won't say very good. I think it's better to say strong. Essentially, you'll want to be pretty proactive, and all you're doing that mid is trying to like deny space while minimizing the effect of whatever the fuck whatever the heck they commit in bathhouse. I forgot to go on YouTube. I can't swear on YouTube, guys. So all you're doing is you're trying to kind of overload the point, and you're gonna treat whoever's in here as kind of like an imaginary frag. No special rollout. You guys just kind of roll out main right here, and you'll just kind of play like kind of here and kind of play far side away. So like the spam and damage this team is doing from like bathhouse is pretty much like the equivalent of like a wet napkin. Per usual, I think any mid you do decide to take, you'll need your sniper to kind of, you'll need their sniper call as soon as possible, and you just kind of keep in mind where he is. And also, what you want to do is you want to have your soldier bomb across point with a full buff to kind of draw eyes while the rest of your team crosses. Just make sure, like, as you cross, you have someone do like a quick check behind to watch for a spy decloaking like right here or walking off of here. It is very good for scouts and spies or scouts and medics on this map to kind of find out spies easily, because the walk-ups are kind of bad. If you're a medic kind of holding behind like obelisk right here, like we're just kind of on mid, like if you keep your head on a swivel and just like check like random corners or something as your team fights, or checking like on point as your team kind of walks forward, you can find a spy pretty easily, because just like a lot of the decloak spots aren't very good unless you're actively decloaking like on point kind of right here, or like if like there's fighting over here, you kind of decloak right here and you just like jump up and try to get something right here, or like this is a pretty common spot too, like back here. Like, as long as you're, like, he has someone that's kind of keeping their head on a swivel and watching for, like, those pretty obvious walk-ups, the spies should have a pretty hard time. So it's not too often to have spies kind of decloak right here on, like, mid-bats and try to, like, pistol you guys down from, like, mid while you guys are just kind of walking forward. So kind of keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, like, if you guys are walking forward, watch for, like, counter bombs. Sometimes what might happen is that since you guys are kind of neglecting the bathhouse area, it's not too uncommon for soldiers to kind of get up right here and they'll do like a wall bomb right here and try to go high on you. So if you see their soldier kind of walking forward behind, you just got to commit a bit more forward and kind of establish a good ground on the point, turn around and kill that guy, and then just kind of focus whatever's there as a team. My least favorite rollout on this map, or just kind of mid or any kind of like initiation on this map, is probably teams defaulting to bathhouse on mid. I would say going bathhouse on mid is the equivalent of going into like lower on Asheville, in the sense that you can be locked out pretty easily, and you can get like a free mid from it. So the opposite of playing over here, if they commit a lot of people, if their combo goes bathhouse, your demo and scout can play kind of closer to like this door, and they have to be tanked, like absolutely like pumped full of heals. Like you might need to hit like a few clutch arrows every now and then. But the biggest thing is that your demo and scout are gonna lock out this door right here. Your heavy can play obelisk is kind of right here, and your heavy can like shoot into the doorway from like right here. Also, it's a pretty good spot for like heavies to kind of do some good damage on obelisk, where you can play it kind of closer right here. Up to you. And your heavy is kind of over here watching obelisk and keeping his head on a swivel, watching your spies. You don't want your demo getting stabbed pretty easily from like right here, so kind of keep that in mind. Your flank, really, I think you just need to make sure nothing can push out on the ruins, so you might need to be a bit more passive. And you can also kind of play to support your demo too. Your pyro can also kind of play closer to like this doorway also, to help like kind of deny spam outside the door onto like your demo. So it's pretty easy to kind of deny that. Your sniper, if they decide to go in the bathhouse, if your sniper like rotates on the mid bats or like bats itself, you can get a pretty good look into there. Also, lower bats can give you a pretty good like kind of a deep, like shallow look, I guess it would be. So make sure you guys are kind of calming early as to where their combo is, so you can kind of shift around on the point and try to snuff it out, whatever it is. Usually what happens here is that teams will get you on the bathhouse, they'll heal up, and they'll all try to flood out the door. So making sure you're ready to kind of deny that flood is very important from like your demo and pyro. So I would say kind of like once you guys kind of get to mid, your demo has to kind of stick up points and doorways. You know, I think we talked about that, Clav, like from Swiftwater. So the biggest thing, you know, like once you cap, it's just kind of a thing where, you know, a rollout you can do if you want. But like the thing is, like once you kind of get cap right here and you're playing on point, like, you know, you don't need to run all the way up here to do this. But, like, you know, just kind of like sticking that up real quick, or like, you know, if you know there's like a heavy right here, you can kind of cap back up, sticky that up, reload, and if he peeks you, he dies. Just make sure you kind of sticky up any kind of doorway where their combo might try to repush from, so they can't easily get back in. For this team in particular, definitely make sure like you keep your eye on your med after you cap, or if you kill their med, because good teams will sell out for like your med. And being ready to have your combo to kind of deny that it's a little bit easier, because like spies can kind of be neutralized, but like the soldier bombs, you guys gotta be on top of it. I would say it's kind of up to your combo after you kind of cut off those two ties and based on how they want to fight and hold point. There are two different strategies you can do to hold Lakeside. Each one kind of has their own strength and weaknesses. So what I'm about to go over, you can kind of experiment with in your own scrims and see what works best for your team. Any questions for just kind of mids or fighting?
Mm, not particularly.
Did a pretty good job going over basically all that we'd need. I don't think you really missed anything.
That's my goal. That is my goal. Oh, I didn't realize Beep followed me. Thank you for the follow, Beep. I'll have to give you mod after this. I'm sorry.
Woo.
Woo woo. My man Beep. He called me the CEO, and he is right. So holding on point, I like the two holds you can do on this map are on point or in bathhouse. Holding on point, I would say, is pretty similar to how you would kind of approach a mid fight. You just kind of have like your demo scout, sniper, medic, pyro, heavy, basically your combo. Shift around on your side of the point, stairs and obelisk to try and react to wherever their team kind of comes from. Your positioning kind of relies on what the Ubers are. If you guys have big ad, you can afford to play kind of a bit closer and kind of forward hold with like your sniper kind of watching doors and your spies just kind of calling wherever they're coming from. So you can just kind of pressure that doorway pretty hard. Your flank will kind of be positioned in or around ruins and bathhouse to kind of threaten like you're basically just trying to hold ruins and kind of make sure like nothing can kind of wrap your team on point as you guys hold. So make sure you're like being alive is good. And in post tubers, if teams are committing a little bit more out of yard or backyard, your soldier can do like let's like a high bomb or like a few bomb soldier can do on this map that are kind of cool. Um, Basically like the rules like if you need to bombing off of the obelisk is always good because you can kind of land wherever you want if you go off that thing. Um, one of my favorites is off this little right side here. You can go off like this ramp and hit this rock and go really high and far. Oh shit, what is it like? Usually, like if you hit that like even better than I do, you can land like all the way in backyard onto a med or something from like your own medium health kit. Um, you could also, if your team has bathhouse control, if you guys push out right here, it's really easy to go like right here off this big wall and land in the backyard. This is really good for landing on medics or combos who are hurt in the post fight, and they try leaving on a main or like lower main. You can just kind of land on them from right there. So that's like kind of a benefit of having control of bathhouse during post tubers that you can kind of coordinate some nice collapses from like your flank. Just gonna make sure your flank doesn't feed on like Koth is really good, so you can kind of deny like doorways. So typically I think you'll just kind of want like your demo, scout, and pyro taking Ubers, and your other classes are just kind of helping clean up overextended players, and you're just staying healthy for like the post Uber. Ubering these classes in particular is strong because pyro can push people off the point back down the stairs. Your demo can punish like their team for committing too many people on the point with spam, and your scout can do a pretty good job kind of killing people who commit too close off that spam. Your heavy is going to play more of a denial harassment role, and you're just playing to kind of deny lanes on point that aren't being watched, and you're also kind of helping to kind of do constant damage from your stairs, obelisk, or even like your own gay spot. While like you have your demo scout sniper just kind of do a lot of damage to things like single targets. Heavy Ubers really aren't that good unless they're like super close and on point, and you can just kind of catch them in the exchange. You gotta make sure like your more proactive classes are alive and ready to push back their Uber, and you're ready to always chase kills in the post and take back the space you lost. Again, like I think heavy on a swivel, kind of watching your spy helps. Your med too. Um, just kind of make sure like as you're spy checking, if they're like kind of playing behind their obelisk and you're behind yours, you're not like walking into spam. Really, what happens is if you guys are playing on like even Ubers, you can't really afford to hold point that well. A lot of times you end up playing both behind obelisk. It's really just kind of like a mid to where like you need to react whatever like their aggression's coming from, and if they're trying to walk on point for free, your demo kind of needs to do a lot of damage onto them. and just try to kind of deny like wherever the aggression is coming from. Sometimes you can sticky up your own obelisk as you get pushed back, just to kind of have like a little trap on point ready to go in case they go too quick, and you can usually find a quick kill that way. Just like, I don't know, if you're like playing back here and they start to like walk out, like usually like what will happen is like, you can like have that like it's kind of stuck up, and you have like stickies loaded obviously because we're all good players here, and if you're just kind of sitting here spamming and they kind of bust out and you kind of bust that, like you can just kind of sticky that up real quick, reload, and you kind of see if anything will kind of die to it while also kind of spamming this right here. And if they like don't give you a lot, you can just kind of reload and start sticky spamming to kind of do a lot of damage to players. And like if you're just shitting on people, you can just kind of walk more and more forward and punish people. That's really just about it. Like I would say if you guys are on ad and they're like close and you guys have Uber, don't be afraid again like to run your scout demo into them and kill the med right away. If you want to, like if you're both being obelisk, your demo can be like, yo, med, Uber me, and you can like kind of, it's kind of hard to jump right there. You can kind of just like jump like right here or something and try to like land kind of right here and get caught by like, you know, um, the the Uber. So just kind of keep that in mind, to where if you guys need to get a lot of space quickly to punish people for playing too far in on Uber Disad, Scout Demo Uber is the best thing you can do for your team. And you'll usually like do that for mostly like everything on this map, because Scout is very good on this point. And then like for like holding point, like if it's like if your team has those bathhouses, again, it's pretty easy for like your team to kind of harass people from like your own bathhouse if your flank's alive. Minis in bathhouse are also very good because you can just kind of harass the point pretty easily and kind of make them have to look at your wrangled mini that's just shooting things in the back for like a lot of damage. In terms of like teleporter spots, I think like, you know, this one's pretty common. Like you have one really close, like right here if you want. Having one just kind of sitting in main right here is alright too. As long as you do have one, it should be okay. Dispensers usually just kind of set up right here on the tree, and you can have a mini set up kind of watching like this ammo kit side right here, or you can have one kind of set up in like the ruins area passively, or kind of right here ready to wrangle stuff down. Also having one just kind of wrangled right here and kind of harassing their team behind obelisk if like your flank kills their flank and you want to start pressuring them. This is a very good way to kind of do a lot of pressure on the team. So what happens is like you kill their flank and you're both the combos are sitting behind obelisk. If you guys just decide to walk out and start like shooting rockets here and wrangling stuff, they have to turn and look at you. And if you coordinate that right, you can just kind of push off that and you can find like a free kill or get like a good force out of them, and you can kite it back pretty free. So just do keep that in mind. Any questions for the point hold?
Nope.
No.
Okay. So just kind of talking about bathhouse holds.
I had a question.
Uh-huh.
Have you already talked about spy decoy spots?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I'll just watch the video for that.
So just kind of holding bathhouse, it's pretty as simple as like the whole name sounds. Really, like you just kind of shove your entire team in here, and you just kind of play around your sniper, while like your spy and scout work to kill anything that tries to kind of edge the point for free. While also like if your sniper is like playing bats alone, you want to try and kill that guy. So keeping your sniper alive and supported should be like priority number. I don't think there's a number like greater than like, you know, I don't know. There's like, I really can't put into words how important the sniper is like in this hold. Because there are some very good sight lines onto the way the point that your sniper can abuse and make it kind of hard for their team to work around. So having him alive to kind of work those angles is very important. Like sniping from bathhouse gives you some good sight lines into main, Like, you know, you can do stuff just like this one's pretty common right here. If you need to go deeper, like this one's also pretty common. You can get up onto this fire post right here if we're like on blue and look into this thing right here. You can do the same. You can do the same side right here. You just get up on this fire thing, and boom, you're like looking way deeper into their main. But just kind of sitting here and watching this is very, very good for your team. So your sniper needs to be like tanked, and you need to make sure he doesn't ever get stabbed in bathhouse. So really like your heavy demo medic, pyro, sniper, NG, and like you can have your soldier play in there too if you want to. Or you got your soldier, scout, and spy kind of play over here on like the far right, or I guess it'd be far right, far left, the big ammo kit side on point. And their job is just kind of deny anything that tries to run up on the point and cap for free. Should be a mini here also just to kind of help deny that. Your heavy medic and NG are just kind of on spy denial duty with like your pyro. Your demo and soldier can be in here, and if they want to be in here, like you guys are just kind of working spam to make sure nothing kind of gets through these doors for free. Yeah, your pyro can rotate between doors to kind of deny spam, and also be an extra pair of eyes for the spy if needed. If they walk up on the point right here, and you have Uber, do not be afraid to pop out with your scout, demo, and pyro, and work to kill things like close to point. And with this Uber, you kind of want to try your best to make space, and force their medic. And after like this initial Uber from you guys, your team will want to fan out onto point behind the Uber and clean up kills on like, you know, hurt players that haven't been flashed, or like your scout hit for like 100, or like your demo piped. And depending on how this fight goes, like if you, so let's say we kind of Uber this right here, and like your demo, scout, and pyro make a lot of space this way, and your team kind of floods behind, and you don't find any kills, but you do force the med, that's fine. What's going to happen after this is that you can just retract back into like playing kind of on point, and you're kind of like playing like a second mid fight from that Uber. If you guys do get a lot of kills, and you kind of like force their med, and you just end up like totally stuffing the push, just rotate and retract back in the bathhouse. Any Yu-Gi-Oh fans in chat? Is that
Are you about to make a reference?
I am.
Ooh.
So this hold is kind of like Exodia. This hold is literally just like Exodia. You know, for those who don't know, like Exodia is this thing in Yu-Gi-Oh that is so strong. He got like split up into pieces, like his arms and legs are like all split up across different cards. So on their own, they're not very good. But whenever all the pieces are working together, it's very good. But if even like a single piece of that Exodia is missing, like the whole thing falls apart. And that's very true for like this hold in particular to a degree. So I would say like the bare minimum like prerequisites, if you guys even want to attempt a solid bathhouse hold, is you need your scout, demo, pyro, and sniper alive to even, actually not your pyro, I'd say like your scout, demo, and sniper need to be alive at least. You need to have at least even Ubers, and that's like bare minimum. As long as you have at least even Uber and those 3 classes alive, you can make a case for it. If not, I would just kind of wait till you get those classes, and if you have a few picks to kind of rotate back in and they're giving you space, then you can kind of walk back in here and kind of pop up your sniper again. You can kind of get by like being down a pyro or NG, but for that reason, like having clean captures where like you either kill the med or you don't have to use Uber, just make sure like you like don't use like you like don't lose those key classes if you want to try doing like a hold like this. there's like a high standard to this hold. I would say in exchange for like the positioning that you leave behind, you hold on. Sorry, but it's just like a thing where you're playing in here, and you don't leave them a lot of room to kind of work with. They don't have a lot of room to push you out, so you can just kind of sit here and get a lot of mileage out of like your sniper and demo, just constantly like denying them no matter what door to try to go out of. A lot of times teams will try to just kind of default way bottom left here, or just kind of lower bats, and this is where like the sniper is really, really important. So it's very, very essential that you guys have some awareness, and if you do want to try it, you just do it whenever it's appropriate and don't force it. If you do force it, you might just end up like giving the point up for free, and you guys end up getting wiped because you didn't have the right classes. Any questions for the Bath household?
So basically all you're doing is just sitting in there and waiting to kind of jump out at them with the demo scout Uber.
You are sitting in here and you're making sure your sniper is alive constantly, and you're just trying to punish them really hard for like even trying to walk out. Like if they try walking out like main, you can kind of get right here and start like spamming main really, really hard with like pipes and sticks and whatnot, and your sniper can get like a good sight line on it. You're just making it really hard for them to walk up because you're putting a lot of your like bets into your sniper to do well, and you and your soldier, like I guess a demo and soldier, are gonna work to kind of pressure any kind of doorway they try to walk out of. And as soon as they commit a lot, you just kind of get them on point. You pop, you exchange, and then you play it from there. It's a much slower hold, if that makes sense. As opposed to playing on point where you're constantly just kind of rotating and taking positioning on point, either in front, passive, left, right, etc. You're just playing right in here and you're playing around your sniper for most of the hold. That kind of makes sense?
Definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
I should probably check like stream chat to make sure like I don't miss anything.
Definitely.
Cool. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Why is this echoing? Hello? I should probably check. Well, that echoes to be on the stream. That's cool. Alright, I'm gonna go into pushing. So if you don't have point and you're on Uber Disad, it's pretty normal to kind of build your Uber. Like if you guys are like at big Disad, and you don't have point, sitting back here is pretty good, so like you don't get ran at. Your demo heavy pyro med, just kind of play off like your sniper and spy doing their own thing until you find picks. Like if you guys get like 3 or 4 kills, you can walk out, or you can walk out until it's even Ubers. But I would say never really play this close on Disad unless you have like significant picks. And you just try to kind of get positioning for a push right here while your soldiers go and NG try and work point, or they can work ruins. Pretty similar to a mid where you can kind of commit your whole team onto point, or you can kind of try to split like your flank here, working on the side, and your combo kind of here on point. Your pyro can also help your flank here if they need it, or your pyro can walk up and up deny spam. I would say having your pyro walk up to kind of deny spam and rotate away is okay, because having that extra air blast in here might help like totally stuff that soldier, so the rest of your team can kind of flood in and push them out and kind of harass their team from like right here. Once you get Uber and you're ready to start walking the point, there's a few different ways you can go. You can go main, lower bats, or ruins. It's kind of with Koth, you want to make sure you just go to way that's most direct and kind of into their team for an exchange. You just want to get the obelisk point with your Uber and start pressuring their players and the point to just kind of lead into doing like again an exchange. Otherwise, if we're playing even right here, pushing onto point from behind obelisk is pretty similar to playing a mid out. You're just kind of close to begin with. Your combo just needs to play together, and you need a workspace, and you need to coordinate to take point back. Your engineer can put some minis kind of behind obelisk, and kind of like right here or something, and dispenser right here to kind of deny anything from over peeking into your team for free, and just kind of stop like any overextended pressure. Again, I would say it's good to kind of initiate from like a soldier bomb. Like your soldier can bomb off of obelisk. If you guys have flank control, like your soldier can kind of just spam here and bomb high and try to land like on ruins or kind of on bridge and draw eyes. And as soon as they turn to shoot your soldier, you guys should be crossing. You can also just land on the med too, and you guys can just go off that pressure alone. If they force, just try your best to kind of kite back and keep as many people alive as you can until you need to use also. And then just kind of try to end your Uber on the point. And then push across in the post. If teams are playing bathhouse, I would say you can roll out ruins. Like just kind of rolling out ruins here, like your combo is good. You can just try to like kind of bully like right here with like your demo and pyro, and just kind of rotate right here and try to work this angle right here also. While like your flank kind of works the cap. You can also just kind of run your combo through lower bats right here and try to edge it this way and just kind of force them to use onto you while you have like your demo and pyro kind of stuff the doorway. That's really like all you can really do about it. If you guys kill their sniper, just flood in through like as many doorways and sightlines as you can and just start pressuring point to make them use. And just having like a demo pyro here to kind of deny this Uber in the doorway while you guys cap is very good. Because if they can't swing wide in that Uber to kind of make space, you're just kind of stuck in here. And we're kind of back to the philosophy where if you're in bathhouse and we're on point, you can't really fight anything. So we're just going to abuse that. So you can kind of use that to your advantage and stuff them right here. And just have your team play point in the Uber and then just kind of back up or commit more into them depending on like what kind of picks you get in that Uber and in the post. If you guys don't get a lot and they kind of back up and they're smart about it and they back up and kind of transition right here with the Uber and start fighting you on point, you're just playing it as like another mid fight, or as you would fight it if you both were like on even Ubers close to obelisk. So again, that kind of goes for defense too. And like this, if you guys are getting stuffed right here, just immediately try to rotate back here and start fighting things from like right here, like your whole team, and just like try to swing across and fight across point as a team. Any questions for Lakeside? In terms of sacks, there's not really a whole lot you can do. You can try to like kind of like, I think the best thing I've done is like this soldier thing right here. Like you can also bomb off obelisk kind of high while your spy like is kind of gets into a position. It's kind of hard to sack on this map, but there's a few ways you can do it. Just make sure if you go for it, you either play for trades or you try to force the med with your sack. Alright. If there's no questions, I think I'm going to end the stream. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.